May the Schwartz be with you! Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Doop Movie Podcast. My name is Brian.
My name is Keith.
And we are here today to deep dive into the 1987 Mel Brooks classic, Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, the podcast.
Spaceballs, the podcast. I fucking love it. Oh, it's great. This movie is so funny. It's definitely rates up in my favorite movies of all time list. Like, I first saw this movie in 1990 with my brother. I was 7.
Yeah.
And he and I watched it religiously. We had a VHS copy that we had recorded off of HBO, right? And we watched the tapes so much that certain parts of the movie were worn out after a couple of years.
Yeah. I could probably tell you about some of those scenes, I'm sure. We'll come on some of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the aliens, or the alien-inspired scene at the end. Yeah. It's the not lightsaber fight.
Right.
And oh shit, there goes the planet.
Yeah.
Were the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the Ludicrous Speed scene was a little bit worn out too.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie's full of so many gags. Spoiler warning, I guess, for a 30.
It's not 40 yet. Not 40 yet. It's 87, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're...
So 2017.
Right. And then,
So 34 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good God, this movie is R.I.P. me.
It's okay.
Directed by Mel Brooks, who is known as one of the great comedy film directors. Like, he's one of the few directors that you could say has oeuvre of movies, right? Like, this is a Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Whereas not a lot of directors, you can't say that about a lot of directors.
What do you mean by oeuvre of movies? Explain that to the audience.
So, like, Mel Brooks has a very unique style and sensibility for the movies that he writes and produces. He's, if I had to give a more modern analogy to Mel Brooks, I'd say kind of like Kevin Smith does, but their comedy styles are way different.
Yeah.
But a Mel Brooks movie is something that most people who are familiar with films would recognize what you mean when you say that.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like a lot of auteurs are pretty much like this, I mean, he's an auteur of comedy, whereas, Tarantino and the Coen brothers are auteurs of, serious cinema. Yeah,
which is perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Not to say that Brooks doesn't delve into some serious topics. I mean, he made comedy musicals about Nazis and the Holocaust and racism.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Slave specifically.
He did Blazing Saddles. He did The Producers.
Right.
He did
History of the
World Part 1. God, that movie is funny. That movie, for a long time, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian when I was younger. It turns out I do much better when I have someone to banter with, so just standing on stage, I'm not as funny.
Yeah.
That History of the World Part 1 is why I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
It was like the catalyst for it. It was the scene where there's the court jester comedian played by Brooks talking about, have you heard about this new sect, the Christians? They're so poor, they've only got one God.
Oh, yeah.
And that joke stuck with me for 35 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, directed by Mel Brooks. This is obviously a parody of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? And
if you don't know what Star Wars was,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to assume that some of our audience is familiar with Star Wars. This is an indie little sci-fi franchise. Didn't really go anywhere. No, actually, Industrial Light and Magic, George Lucas's company, actually did a lot of the visual effects for Spaceballs.
Yeah, and did some model work for it too.
Yeah, they did model work for the Eagle 5, which is a flying Winnebago, which is their Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Right.
Winnebago, for those of you who don't know, is a camper. It's a kind of like a school bus, but with a small house attached to it.
Yeah.
It's people use them as vacation homes.
Yeah, like an RV.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, the only stipulation that George Lucas insisted on when he said, okay, sure, do this parody, you can reference the movie all you want, and just no merchandising.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why Brooks wrote in the merchandising bit in the movie as sort of to poke fun at George Lucas, who then thought that was absolutely hilarious and wrote letters to Mel Brooks about how funny it was and then later allowed some merchandising anyway, just because of how funny that joke was.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, we'll get more into, like, the specific...
So, yeah, that's why they allowed the merchandising, a little bit of merchandising to happen. They said no action figures, because they'd all have to be made from the same molds as the ones for the Star Wars action figures.
Right.
But they did allow a yogurt doll and a bunch of t-shirts and lunchboxes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Huh. I actually had Spaceballs the lunchbox when I was little.
Yeah.
And everything in this movie is Spaceballs the whatever. So Spaceballs the movie, Spaceballs the coffee mug. You know?
Yeah. It's something for everything, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went into to watch the DVD that I had a copy of, and I found out that there's no English subtitles to it. You know, I usually like to have like little subtitles whenever I watch film, just because I want to follow along with the plot a little bit better, so that way I'll just get all the names, like, you know, the spelling of everything correct. Mm-hmm. But I tried it in Spanish this time, just for shiggles. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, just watch this movie. That's like they're speaking English, but there's Spanish subtitles, so I might be able to pick up some Spanish while I'm watching this.
Okay. I guess when you've seen a movie 1,000 times, you need new ways to amuse yourself.
Yeah.
Not that this movie needs help amusing people.
It's the movie starts in chapter 11.
Yeah, which is a parody of Star Wars, opening with Episode 4, A New Hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It has the crawl, of course, and it's basically telling you about Princess Vespa's wedding day. It's it's about to come upon.
Yeah, Princess Vespa, played by Daphne Zuniga, who didn't do a lot of film work, but went on to play Victoria Davis in One Tree Hill, and then has since become an environmental activist.
Neat.
Yeah,
very neat. Yeah, and it's after the text crawl, then there was this overlong ship crawl. Like there's a shot of the ship, and then about 90 seconds pass. Like it's just trailing the entire ship. You know,
this ship was actually made the same way they did the Death Star shots in A New Hope, Star Wars: A New Hope. They took bits of models for battleships, like aircraft carrier style, like USS battleships, and put them together in the form of a ship that they could then, swoop a camera over in a dark area or on a green screen in order to have a close up of all these little knobs and bumps and stuff on a ship. That's why in some of these you can still see like some of the sprues are still on there. Sprues are when you're working with models, they're like the little bits of plastic left over from the injection molding, right? And there's also, you can see like the guns a couple of times are just pointing in random directions, but they're the same color as the rest of the hull.
Oh yeah.
So it's the same. They used the same materials and production design as they did with the Death Star shots, but they did it in like the cheap half-assed way on purpose to make it funny.
Okay.
And little stuff like that is what I notice about this movie now, because I've seen it. I can recite this movie.
Yeah. It goes into inside the ship after the long crawl of the ship.
with a once it gets to the engines, it's "We break for nobody."
Yeah, we break for nobody. Yeah. Basically, it's got the crew in there, and there's Colonel Sanders,
played by George Weiner.
He's talking with the dark helmet,
played by legendary comic actor Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
From Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Ghostbusters. And Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I really enjoyed his role here. It's completely opposite of what you would expect from Darth Vader. It just fits so perfectly.
He is
great
in
casting.
It's pitch perfect casting. He is in a Darth Vader suit.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's a black suit with a giant Darth Vader style helmet, but it's as big as his shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's got like a business tie, like Dilbert would wear, but it's also in black.
Yeah.
And he walks out, and the first thing you see is the camera pans up his suit, and you hear the, and then he starts, and he rips up the face mask. It like zips up into his helmet, and he's like, "I can't breathe in this thing." And it's just Rick Moranis, complete with glasses.
Yeah. Just his regular face, you know.
Like, he doesn't even need the helmet at all.
Yeah, he really doesn't. It's just a you know, an accessory at this rate. But they eventually they see this other planet, Druidia. You know, it's a high tech royal society. And they kind of go over, like, their evil plot, pretty much. It's like, you know, it's like, well, we're going to have to go up there. We're going to have to, you know, sneak past this, like, airfield and, like, steal all their air and get back to planet Spaceballs. And then, of course, you know, Dark Helmet breaks the fourth wall, looks straight in the camera at the audience, and was like, you got that?
Everybody got that?
You know? Like, that's the plot.
Yeah.
Let's go from here.
So, the Spaceballs have squandered their air, and they're going to use their giant ship, Spaceball 1, to steal all the air from planet Druidia.
Yeah.
You know, this is the plot of the movie. Yep. So this is Spaceballs, the plot.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, you got to do something to keep them going. There's a Mr. Coffee sponsorship. I made a note of that.
They Planet Druidia is coming up on radar, sir. Okay, I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, that's not the. What you call this a radar? No, sir. We call this Mr. Coffee. And there's like a Mr. Coffee, and it's right next to Mr. Radar.
Yeah. Same design and everything. Like you definitely confuse the two.
Everybody knows I drink coffee when I watch Radar. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir. Mm-hmm. And they all cover their crotches, because earlier in the scene he had shot one of the other crew members in the balls with his Schwartz ring.
Yeah.
You know, which is he's got the Schwartz, which is the force of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It pan to Planet Druidia at the wedding itself.
King Roland, played by Dick Van Patten,
mm-hmm.
who you'll notice from he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay.
He did a lot of 80s comedy movies. You know, I mean a lot of the people in this cast did a lot of 80s comedy movies.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. But yeah, you see the Princess Vespa and Doc Matrix.
Yeah, who is the C-3PO counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Vespa's handmade droid.
Yeah.
And she is played by legendary comedian Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know who Joan Rivers is, you fix that. She's real funny.
Mm-hmm.
Ask any aficionado to name the top 10 comedians of all time, stand-up comedy, and Joan Rivers will almost always be on that list.
But they're going through the wedding. Princess Vespa with Prince Valium, you know, a narcoleptic who's yawning the whole time, pretty much. And she eventually runs away from the wedding, and Doc Matrix makes this comment like, "Wait, you forgot to get married."
Yeah.
But they go up into the ship and they escape. You know, they run away from the wedding pretty much, and they just go out into space. After this, there's a cut to the Winnebago that we mentioned earlier.
With the Eagle 5.
You know, with Barf and Lone Star.
Yeah, Barf played by John Candy, who tragically passed away, but is one of the funniest men I've ever seen on film.
Mm-hmm.
And Lone Star, played by then complete newcomer Bill Pullman.
Mm-hmm.
He'd done some stage work before then, but after this, his two biggest roles that people I think would recognize was he was the reporter in Newsies, and then he was in Independence Day. He was the president in Independence Day.
Yeah, definitely Independence Day for sure.
Yeah.
And like that's really great too. Like it's very good casting for somebody who's like kind of new to kind of like, you know, jump onto the scene.
Yeah.
You know. And I really appreciated that. But like Barf, he's basically like half man, half dog. He's a Mog.
Yeah, I'm my own best friend.
You know. Even though he's playing Lone Star's companion, who should be a best friend, but it's, you know,
well,
it's just funny.
Yeah, he's the Chewbacca of the group, and Lone Star is obviously the Han Solo. Of the group.
Yeah, Han Solo / Luke Skywalker. As you find out later on throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But they get a call from somebody that, you know, like a gangster that, you know, puts out a hit on them, is like trying to collect some debt. Pizza the Hut.
Yeah, who is literally a sentient walking pile of pizza.
Yes.
Played by Dom DeLuise, who is well known in comedy circles.
Yeah.
And his Rudy DeLuca plays Vinny. Rudy DeLuca, known for a bunch of gangster movies and stuff. Like I think he was in Heat.
Yeah.
He was in Dirty Harry. You know, things like that.
Cool.
Plays Vinny, his like cyborg gangster thing, and it's like So how am I gonna? You owe me. I need that money you owe me tomorrow, is what he says to Lone Star. They're like, by tomorrow,
like 100,000 space bucks. That's a lot to get. I was like, oh no, I need 1 million.
Yeah, you forgot interest charges.
Yeah, I need 1 million space bucks by tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, how are we gonna get that?
Or else pizza is gonna send out for you.
Let's see.
I'm not gonna quote every line in this movie. I promise. I'm getting it out of my system.
You say that. Then cut to Princess Vespa, Doc Matrix, and Doc Matrix kind of going through the spiel of the marriage. It's like, why'd you run away from this? A princess needs to marry a prince. And Vespa has these little hair buns, like, on the side of her head, but they're actually like a headset, because that's not really how she styled her hair,
Yeah, because her hair is styled the way Princess Leia's hair was in the first Star Wars movie, right? With the side buns.
Yeah.
Only she then takes them off, and it's obviously the headset she's listening to 80s pop rock music on.
Mm-hmm. Then we cut to Spaceball City. President Scroob is...
played by Mel Brooks.
He's sniffing into this, like, can of air.
Yeah, while assuring a reporter there's no air shortage on planet Spaceball.
Yeah, he's taking it all for himself, basically.
Yeah.
There's, like, a little beaming skit from here. It's like they try to beam him from, like, this one place to, like, the ship, so on and so forth, and then
to the control center.
The control center of the ship, and then, like, his head was completely turned around, and, like, he can look down at his ass pretty much.
Yeah.
Why
didn't anyone tell me my ass was so big? And earlier he was like, the beaming, I don't know, is that safe? And she's like, Snotty beamed me twice last night, sir. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course he went back to his office, and then he, was like, "Oh, well, I'll just go there myself." And it's literally next door.
Yeah, it's literally he goes through the door from his office is the door into the control center. Like they beamed him 12 feet.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean, it's funny because you didn't know that beforehand.
Oh
yeah, it was a nice setup. My next note, Dark Helmet. They're having a discussion. I think one of the crew members on the Spaceball 1's team. He's cross-eyed.
Yeah, well, Helmet's like, fire a warning shot across her bow.
Yeah.
Right, and they start shooting, and they almost blow Vespa's Mercedes flying car out of the sky. And he's like, I said across her nose, not up it. And the guy turns around, and he's cross-eyed.
Yeah,
and he's like, sorry, sir, I'm doing my best. And Dark Helmet turns to Colonel Sanders and goes, who is that? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. Who is he?
What's his name?
No, his name is Gunner's first mate, Philip Asshole.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
Yeah, he's Major Asshole.
Yeah, Major. He's a Major... Major Asshole. Major Philip Asshole. So, and he's like, who made that man a gunner? I did, sir. He's my cousin. It's another cross-eyed dude. Mm-hmm. How many assholes we got on this ship? And then everybody raises their hand.
Everybody raises their hands. Jeez, I'm surrounded by assholes.
Oh.
So after this whole debacle is going on with the assholes and such, Roland recruits Lone Star to rescue Princess Vespa.
Right.
I was like, oh, why would I want to do that, so on and so forth. And I was like, I'll give you 1 million space bucks. And I was like, well, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because like now obviously I'm actually thinking about that. Like whenever I was younger, whenever first couple of times I watched the movie, it's like, oh yeah, that takes care of the debt. But when I would push it for at least 2 million.
Yeah,
space bucks, like, because I need to pay the 1 million.
Yeah.
So let me just have another 1 million for myself. But
yeah,
it's not like nobody goes into this with that much thought.
Yeah, no, this is not a movie for thinking people.
Yeah,
this is a movie just to laugh your ass off at.
Yeah,
and it's real good at that.
Yeah. My next note is jam the radar.
Yeah, so the Eagle 5. Mm-hmm. Rolls up to Princess Vespa's car, and it's already in Spaceball 1's tractor beam.
Yeah.
Right? And Barf is scared. He's like, okay, the Spaceballs are already here. Oh, well, we tried. We should leave. Mm-hmm. And Lone Star is like, we're not doing this for the money. We're not? No. We're doing it for a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. Like, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. So they jam the radar literally by hurling a jar of jam at the radar dish.
Yeah, like a big jar of jam, which
it literally labeled jam.
Yeah,
and this is
some good model work too.
Yeah, this is Mel Brooks' contractual appearance by Eddie Winslow, or Michael Winslow. Sorry.
Why is it contractually?
It's not. No, I say that as a joke. He was in most of Mel Brooks' movies in some role or another.
Okay.
And a lot of other 80s comedy. He was in the Police Force.
Yeah.
Naked Gun.
Yeah.
He's the sound effects guy.
Yeah.
Right. So you hear the boop, and you think it's the thing, and then it turns around and it's just Michael Winslow.
Yeah, his face.
Making it with his and the camera starts to, or the radar screen starts to go wonky. He's like, and then it cuts to static, and he goes, shit, the radar's dead. And so he calls over Lone Star, or he calls over Dark Helmet, and Dark Helmet tastes the jam, which is now seeping over the screen of the radar.
Yeah.
Raspberry. Only one man would dare give me the raspberry. And his helmet pops down. Lone Star!
Lone Star picks up Princess Vespa and, Dot Matrix and all that. And, of course, they don't, really, he doesn't go outside his ship to pick them up. Barf does it.
Yeah.
Like Barf sees them both in person. So there's this whole, sort of thing about the two of them talk with one another. Like, she has all of her stuff to carry with her.
Yeah, the princess's matched luggage.
And I was like, who does she think she is? Like, they're both, like, bad-mouthing each other pretty much the whole time, And then they finally see each other and they realize that they're attractive people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much a, like, I'm going to go give them a piece of my mind, and they walk in the room and they're now suddenly stumbling over their words.
Yeah.
And, it's cliche.
Yeah, it's cute.
But it's supposed to be.
It's a cute little meet cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all together, and Dark Helmet sees this, and was like, "Well, we're gonna have to catch them because they go into light speed."
Yeah.
Shortly after that,
activate the hidden hyperjets, and so they go to light speed.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where we have to catch them. Prepare for light speed. No, light speed's too slow. Light speed's too slow. Yes. Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed.
Close the 3-ring circus. Batten down all shops in the mall. It's like, now hear this. Ludicrous speed. Go! And they hit it, and so, because at this point Lone Star has taken off. They're making space tracks.
Yeah.
And Spaceball 1 goes so fast that they pass Lone Star, and the hyperspace, like, lines of stars turns orange and yellow, and then turns into a plaid.
Yeah, they've gone plaid.
They've gone to plaid.
Yeah.
And at this point, they're, we have to stop. We can't stop. It's too dangerous. So stop! I order you, stop! And he presses the emergency stop button.
And then he, like, goes ahead and, like, he realizes that he wasn't really, like, held down safely as opposed to everyone else, they trail him behind, and then they shoot Dark Helmet forward.
Yeah.
And lands on top of his head, and, like, it flattens the entire head.
Yeah. He smashes into a control console.
Yeah.
He gets up, he's like, want to take a 5-minute break? Smoke if you got him. And he just collapses.
So, yeah, Vespa, Dot, Lone Star, and Barth, they're stranded on the desert moon of Vega.
Yes.
After their travels.
Because they used up all their gas in hyperjet.
Yeah.
Mode.
Yeah, and Lone Star was telling Vespa, well, only take what you need with you. They got some of their bags with them, and then, they realized, like, she's still carrying a lot of stuff with her that she doesn't really need.
Dot Matrix has 2 bags. Barf has a bag over his shoulder. Lone Star and Barf are together carrying a giant trunk. Yeah. Vespa's carrying an umbrella. Like, she's not even carrying any of her own bags.
Yeah, no. That's too much for her. She's a princess, of course.
Of course. She doesn't do labor.
Yeah, they open one of their bags and, take out some stuff they just don't need. Like, like a hair dryer. Like a huge hair dryer, like like a man-sized hand dryer, like it's
when
ridiculous.
You say man-size, it's the size of a man. It's not like a hair dryer for a man. This thing is like 4 feet wide.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Just real quick, I'm just gonna jump in here. These jokes, Mel Brooks didn't write this by himself, right? This was co-written by 3 people. It was written by Mel Brooks, Ronnie Graham, and Thomas Meacham.
Okay.
Graham wrote a lot of episodes of MASH and The Brady Bunch. Right?
Yeah.
And also played the priest who was marrying Vespa to Valium.
Okay.
Right? Meacham did a lot of Broadway work. Up to and including he wrote Annie, like the Little Orphan Annie musical. He wrote Hairspray, and he wrote The Producers. He is the only writer on Broadway to have written 3 separate shows that all went more than 2,000 showings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he's a very successful comedy writer in and of himself.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, so we're on the planet Vega, and they're stranded.
Yeah, they're stranded. And then at some point they camp out, and this is when like a good bonding time between Lone Star,
yeah,
and Vespa. Like they realize like maybe they don't hate each other so much. Maybe they can't stand each other that much. But there's this little like Virgin Alert thing that comes up for Dot Matrix.
Well, they have a moment where they're about to lean in and kiss,
right? Yeah.
And the Virgin alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Dot Matrix like, hands to yourself, buddy.
It's programming to go off before you do.
Yeah. God, that's such a funny line.
And like, of course, you did. Yeah, like when I was young, I didn't realize what that meant.
Oh yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah, 7-year-old me just thought, oh, that's clever. Whereas 37-year-old me is like,
Yeah. At some point, trails back to Dark Helmet's ship, and there's like, okay, well, where are they? It was like,
where did they go?
Because I think like they've already like lost them. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to go to the tape. We're gonna have to go see where they're at. And I was like, what do you mean?
Pull up Spaceballs the movie. And they're like, how can you pull up Spaceballs the movie? We're not done making it yet. No, sir. It's a new breakthrough in home video technology. Instant cassettes. And they open up a shelf, and there is like History of the World Part 1 and Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and they pull out a cassette tape of Spaceballs the movie. And in a really nice touch, the VHS copy and Blu-ray copy, or at least the one that I have, has the exact same very simplistic artwork.
Oh, cool.
As the cassette from in the film. So it's kind of like maintains that continuity.
Yeah. Yeah, they start playing the movie. And
on the VHS.
On VHS, of course, It might date this movie a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah. I've completely lost where we were.
We're at the point where they're watching the movie.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a point where they're watching the movie, and then they skipped forward throughout the part where they went Ludicrous Speed. It was like, never play that again. Never play that again.
Yeah.
And it finally fast forwarded to the point where it's that exact moment.
What's on the screen now? Now, sir.
Now.
Right now. What did we just pass? That was then. When? Just now. Well, when are we going to get to it's like...
When are we going to get to where they were? We just did.
We just passed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When? Now.
Just now.
Who's on first? Basically. Basically, instead of just replaying the who's on first bit, that was pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made the discovery, that they're on the moon of planet Vega, pretty much the desert moon of Vega.
And then we go to President Screw, who says, "Comb the desert. You have to find them. Do you hear me? Comb the desert."
Yeah.
And then cut to a bunch of what they call ping pongs, which are the stormtroopers in the Spaceballs universe, literally taking combs and combing the desert, like big giant, like 8-foot long combs. But they're obviously just gigantic versions of like the black, quote, unbreakable comb that you'd get in like a hotel room.
Yeah.
Except for, and this is one of the only jokes that I don't think holds up as well.
Right.
The only two black ping pongs, played by black actors, have an afro pick.
Yeah.
And he's like, so he goes, "We're combing the desert. Have you found anything? No. Have you found anything? No." Go to the black people. "Have you guys found anything? We ain't found shit."
Yeah.
And it's funny, but it's a little tasteless from today's enlightened future space perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
trapped on the desert.
The squad, I just needed into the squad whenever I was up here. Because, like, having to write down Vespa and Dot and all that, just a little bit tiresome. But they're discovered by Dinks. And, like, they're having their own little song, coming through. It was like, ding, 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 Basically, just imagine the
Jawas.
Yeah, I like the Jawas, but I mean, there's a little bit of like
the Munchkins from Munchkinland.
Munchkins, definitely. like Munchkins from Willy Wonka, so on and so forth.
Oh yeah,
and then too.
Not Munchkins. What was it? Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas. Yeah. Although they say more than just dink. It's funny. I found some interesting background info with that. Apparently that there was a commentary of Spaceballs, but it's performed just by the dinks, and they just say dink the whole movie through. And I was like, okay, that's great, but the whole wow.
Oh my God!
That's a commitment to comedy.
That is the kind of joke I would make if I were putting out a movie with a commentary track.
Yeah,
like that is top shelf for me. I love that kind of joke.
Yeah, like I mean, it's it's a spoof movie, so why not just have fun with it?
Yeah. Oh God.
they're not taken captive.
Yeah, they collapse in the heat. The party
yeah
collapses in the heat. Right, it's too hot, and it's really funny is they're walking along, and Lone Star's like water, and Barf is like water, and Vespa's going room service.
Yeah.
This is the roughest she's ever roughed it.
Yeah,
So they collapse, and the Dinks rescue them
mm-hmm.
and take them to their leader.
Yeah,
who is Yogurt.
Yeah.
Played by Mel Brooks on his knees. And he's got gold face paint on. Mm-hmm. So he's Yoda.
Yeah.
He's the Yoda / Ben Kenobi of this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. He, there was a nice little image, with Wizard of Oz too, like, cause, whenever they go to his lair, his cave, so on and so forth, there's this huge statue, of this Yogurt character.
And fire is shooting out of its mouth.
Yeah. So it's definitely a very, obvious Wizard of Oz reference. And then you see Yogurt.
What, you hated me? Yeah. Like, he doesn't even try to mask his New York Jew accent. He's just completely a New York Jew as an alien.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they go into the little spiel, and he shows him the merchandise.
Yeah.
He has, like, Spaceballs the sheet, Spaceballs this, Spaceballs that.
Spaceballs the lunchbox, Spaceballs the doll. Pulls the hand. May the Schwartz be with you. That's my opening. Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Which inspired Elon Musk to make his flamethrowers that are already all sold out, so you can't buy one now.
Yeah. It's actually really cool. That's the second thing that Elon Musk has done for Spaceballs. In the Tesla Motor Company, their speed settings for their automatic pilot mode are labeled Ridiculous Speed, Ludicrous Speed, and Plaid.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, after that, he does he show him that he has the ring at this scene, or was that a little bit later on? That he has a Schwartz. I mean, they had to have a conversation where he knows that he has a Schwartz, that he can,
Yeah, because
like
what Lone Star does is Lone Star has a necklace.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, I've taken it to every wise man in the galaxy, and none of them can tell me what it means.
Yeah.
So he shows it to Yogurt, and Yogurt says, interesting. You can read it? Oh, no, I'm clearing my throat.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he starts teaching Lone Star how to use the Schwartz.
Yeah.
Right? He says, now is not the time for you to learn what that necklace means, but I will translate it for you later. Right? Yeah. So Lone Star is now practicing with the ring, learning how to use the Schwartz, which is the Force.
Right.
And he is like lifting the giant statue of Yogurt,
mm-hmm.
and he's he's basically training.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then it's...
This is where his similarities to Luke Skywalker is being shown into it now. Like, it's not just a Han Solo sort of similarity parody. It's also a Luke Skywalker parody. So and that's a really good decision in terms of like making your little spoof is like just combining two characters together to serve both purposes. Like, it's it does a lot for the story.
So it's night, presumably a few days later.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a few weeks later. And the Spaceballs have caught up to the outside of Yogurt's place.
Right.
And Dark Helmet is like, oh, I can sense Yogurt. I can sense the presence of the Schwartz. And Colonel Sanders is like, well, don't you have the Schwartz too? Why can't you just go in and... Oh, no. He got the upside. I got the downside. He's too powerful. Like... So he fakes King Roland's voice and tricks Vespa into coming out, and then gives her knockout gas.
Yeah.
And she gets taken.
Yep. Yep.
And so now she's up on Spaceball 1, and I'm sorry, I'm taking over your duties here.
It's okay. Yeah, Lone Star accepts the Schwartz ring. Whenever they realize, like, oh, Vespa's been taken now, we're gonna have to go rescue her, so on and so forth. Then there's this little scene. Dark Helmet. He's playing with some action figures in a room.
Your helmet is so big.
Just acting like a child as usual, which is great.
Action figures of Lone Star, Barf, Dark Helmet, and Vespa.
Yeah, which you're not allowed to sell, of course. Just because of this whole deal.
Yeah. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again, sir.
They contact Roland at some point whenever they have Vespa hooked up onto this like table, this surgery table, and it was like, we're gonna have to give her back her old nose.
Yeah. We're going to have to give her plastic surgery. She already had plastic surgery. It was her Sweet 16 present.
Yeah.
We're going to give her old nose. And they show this picture of Daphne Zuniga with an obvious, like, prosthetic fake witch's nose.
Right.
But it's, like, huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Roland gives them the combination to the shield.
Yeah, of course. Yes. I would never, like, it's weird. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
I was like, what? Really? That was it? Like, I'm surprised they didn't just guess that,
Yeah, it's like, that's the kind of combination an idiot puts on his luggage. And then later you'll hear President Scrooge say, that's the same combination that's on my luggage.
Tell him to make sure to take that off my luggage.
Yeah.
At some point, whenever the Winnebago lands, like, on the Spaceball 1, pretty much. There's a sign up there, and it was like 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. Monday through Sunday. You're not allowed to park here, pretty much.
Yeah.
You could have just said there's no parking here, but you're gonna have to go into the details of it. So they go into Spaceball 1. They rescue Vespa.
With an action scene, right? And like it's full of funny stunts like combat dive. Somebody shouts combat dive as they dive through a closing door.
Yeah.
At one point they're holding up, they're shooting guns down a hallway. Barf pulls like a U-shaped bracket off the wall, and the lasers all go in the top and come out the bottom and shoot the dudes.
Right.
It's a bunch of little visual humor, but the real funny thing is they're being chased. Right, and when they yell "combat dive" or "stage dive" and they dive through the hole, and all you see is they're stuck in this room and their backs are turned and they're surrounded by ping pongs with their guns out, and the commander is like, "So you thought you could outwit the imperious forces of planet Spaceball?" And it turns around and it's their stunt doubles.
Yep.
You idiots! This isn't them. You've captured their stunt doubles. So they make their escape in the Eagle 5. They get back to the Winnebago, and this is where Vespa, who has been pretty much useless this whole time, one of these stray laser shots hits her hair.
Yeah.
And she's like, they shot my hair! And so she racks the laser pistol she's holding and just proceeds to Rambo everybody. And knocks out and shoots all the ping pongs.
Yeah.
And Lone Star's like, yeah, that was pretty good. And Barf was like, yeah, for a girl, And Dot Matrix is like,
oh, that was pretty good for Rambo.
Yeah, exactly.
They get out of the ship. They realize that Vespa has they have the combo to the airfield. So Spaceball 1 transformed into a maid. Like a space maid, pretty much. Yeah,
so they did this long, drawn-out super transformation sequence, and Spaceball 1, the ship, turns into this giant maid with a vacuum cleaner.
With a vacuum cleaner, yeah, to suck up the air, of course.
Spaceball 1 has become Mega Maid.
So they suck up the air, like there are some shots of the trees coming up out of the ground, and, Roland just, like, not really, like, having air, and, like, kind of, like, fainting, so on and so forth, and then at some point, Lone Star uses the shorts to
to switch the machine, the vacuum, from suck to blow.
Yeah.
Right? And so he reverses and blows all the air back out. And that's when they realize that they have to go back into the ship and hit the self-destruct. They have to destroy it.
Yeah.
Right? They have to. So they fly the Eagle 5 back into the Mega Maid through her ear.
Yeah.
Right? And Lone Star exits the ship.
And he comes upon this group of ping pongs. Is that what they?
Yeah, they're called ping pongs in the movie. Yeah,
I didn't realize they were called ping pongs. Like,
yeah.
I didn't realize that was.
It's said one time in the
term.
movie. They're running and he's like, "There's ping pongs, run!" and they run away.
Okay, yeah, that's probably whenever they were. Yeah,
it was during the rescue Vespa scene, I think.
Pretty much, that makes sense. But yeah, there's a couple. There's this one ping pong. He was shaving himself, with Spaceballs shaving cream. And,
Spaceballs the shaving cream. Spaceballs the mirror.
Tower. And all of which the mirror gets used.
Yeah.
During this confrontation between Lone Star and Dark Helmet. They finally meet up. And of course, as a Star Wars fan, you're expecting the, I'm your father sort of twist, but it's really, I'm your father's brother's cousin's former roommate.
Yeah. What does that make us?
Nothing.
Which is what you are about to become.
They have their little battle with the Scorched Rings, which, they have to hang it from their crotch, and that just kind of like,
it turns into a dick lightsaber.
Pretty much,
basically.
like a very phallic fight between the two gentlemen.
These are some of Rick Moranis' best delivered lines. Before the fight, it's so Lone Star. At last we meet for the first time, for the last time. Yeah. And you can see Bill Pullman being like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then when they create the lightsaber, quote unquote, out of their rings,
right.
He goes, Lone Star, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Let's see how well you handle it.
Yeah.
And at one point, they actually mistime a swing and cut the camera operator. Right?
Yeah.
Cut him down with the lightsaber.
Right.
And this cinematography is by Nick McLean, and that's the guy who got cut down.
Okay.
Who also did the cinematography for The Goonies.
Cool.
And he was also a camera operator on Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He also is known for films you might have heard of, Short Circuit, and he did a bunch of episodes of Friends.
The series. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they had their little confrontation. They both use the Schwartz on one another, pretty much.
Yeah.
Get them both like tangled up with one another, and they're trying to, get them untangled.
The lightsabers twist around each other.
Yeah.
I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted.
Yeah. At some point, they kind of like position themselves, on opposite sides of one another, and Lone Star kind of forces Dark Helmet's helmet to hit the self-destruct button on the ship, pretty much. So it's set for self-destruct time. They escape, and then
you're skipping. I'm sorry, you're skipping over one part that I really want to bring up.
Go ahead.
At the end of the fight, right? Lone Star gets tricked to lose the ring.
Oh, yeah,
he's like,
right.
If there's one thing I despise, this is Dark Helmet. One thing I despise, it's a fair fight, but if I must, I must. May the best man win. And he sticks out his hand to shake his hand, and he quick fingers the ring off of Lone Star's hand.
Yeah.
You fell for the oldest trick in the book.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe you. He's like, this is why evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Yeah. And then, of course, he gets this, little telepathic message from, Yogurt. And it was like, oh, the ring is nothing. The Schwartz is within you.
Yeah, the ring is Bupkis. I found it in a Cracker Jack box.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he uses the Schwartz that was actually within himself the whole time, pretty much. And sets off the self-destruct button, so on and so forth. Everything is happening.
Yeah.
That's my like trailing, to my next thought, sort of like fill in the blank of conversation. Yeah. Everything is happening.
So the ship is about to explode. Everyone is panicking and running to the escape pods.
Colonel Sanders, Dark Helmet, and President Scroob. They're like the last members of the ship left. Like they won't be able to get to an escape pod at some point in time. They get brought off by like a bear, like
the bearded lady from the circus,
so on and so forth.
They're the last three left on the ship, and the ship explodes with them on it.
Yeah,
right. And this leads to what it might be the funniest scene in the movie for me, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, like it explodes, and You know, I mean, it leads to one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
I can't remember. Does the head of the ship landing, does that happen before or after the next bit with King Roland and Vespa and them?
I think it happens before, because I think King Roland, Vespa, and all them, like the you're talking about the wedding.
Yeah.
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 Because I mean, the wedding happens.
That's like the last thing that happens. Okay,
that's the last thing that happens.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, the planet is that. I mean, there's a scene there. The head of the Mega Maid, falls onto this planet,
and the hand holding the broken end of the of the vacuum cleaner lands beside the head, which lands on the beach of this planet.
Right.
And these two beings roll up on horses, and they are Dr. Zaius and the girl from Planet of the Apes. Not played with the same actors, but it's the same costumes.
Yeah.
And from the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes films.
Right.
And one of the they hold up a telescope, and you see Dark Helmet and Scroob and Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, they're still alive. They survived.
Yeah, they survived, and they're rappelling out of the nose of this thing. And the ape goes, "Spaceballs." Well, shit. There goes the planet.
Yep.
I will never not laugh at that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, after that, there's discussion to be had, because Princess Vespa is about to get married again. I was like, oh, how dare he just take the money and leave, so on and so forth. And because
she thinks Lone Star just took the $1,000,000 space bucks and ran. Yeah,
and you find out also Pizza the Hut, he died. He ate himself to death.
Yeah, he got trapped in a bank vault and ate himself to death.
So the $1 million is basically theirs now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not going to happen. He decided to turn it down. Him and Barf are eating out at this little eatery in between
this diner. Yeah,
everything else.
We find out from Roland that he didn't take the space. He took 247 space bucks for lunch, gas, and tolls.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, which is pretty honorable. They're eating at this diner, and there's this crew sitting aside from them, pretty much on the opposite ends. They're talking about their little travels, so on and so forth, and their little Barf is trying to order the special, the something special, the space special.
Yeah, the space soup and the space special are the only two dishes available.
Yeah, space soup is space special, and he orders the special, and this member of this crew from across the way, collapses over and having something bursting out of his stomach, and I was like, oh god, what has he had? Oh, he had the space special.
Yeah, that's what I ordered. Change my order to the soup. Good move.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, the guy who had the thing burst out of his chest, it might look familiar to you. That's because that's John Hurt.
Yeah.
And he played Gilbert Kane in the film Alien, where the alien burst out of his chest. He was the chest burster guy.
Yeah.
So he's credited John Hurt as himself.
Right.
In the credits, but it's really it's recurring his alien role.
Yeah.
Because when he collapses and the chest is pulsating, he goes, "Oh no, not again!" And then boom, the thing pops out, and then the alien, instead of attacking people, does a vaudeville-esque musical number.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Hello, my time gal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the frog from WB.
Yeah.
But as the alien now.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
The frog from WB was 25 years later.
Yeah. Right. So... Well, no, I know. I'm just but that's a comedy. That's a cartoon from WB's library from the Looney Tunes from way back in the day.
Yeah,
I know that. I know where he's originally from, but I'm just
the WB used him as a mascot 25 years later for their kids WB shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have that. You pass by Spaceballs, the placemat, and so on and so forth.
The diner is equipped with Spaceballs, the silverware, Spaceballs, the playmat, Spaceballs, the coffee mug.
Yep. After that little debacle, they go back to the wedding. Vespa is trying to have this wedding again with Prince Valium.
Yeah.
And I was
because he's the last prince in the galaxy. You have to marry a prince.
Yeah. And he was just like, oh, where have you been? Obviously he wasn't paying attention this whole time. Coming to find out, I don't know, they must have gone to Vega again in between here or something? I don't know.
No. So
did he telepathically communicate the?
You mind if I take over?
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
As he's leaving Vega the first time, with the ring, he hands him a fortune cookie. It says, "Eat
That's right.
Eat it later." Right.
That's right.
And Schwartz, Yogurt hands him a fortune cookie. Yeah. And they're flying away from the diner where the chestburster happened.
Right.
And they open because they didn't eat because the diner was like infested.
Yeah.
Right. And so Barth was like, "I'm really hungry. Well, I got this fortune cookie that Yogurt gave me." So they open the fortune cookie, and like a hologram of Yogurt pops out.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Lone Star, I translated that tablet or that necklace of yours, but I couldn't tell you before. I have to tell you now. You're a prince."
Yeah.
Right? Your father was a king. Your mother was a queen. That makes you a certified prince. And he says, "So, and if you're quick, there might be a princess in your future."
Yep.
Right? And he says, "I left something in the glove box for you to have a little, to help out." And he opens it, and it's basically just nitrous oxide.
Right.
Right? Liquid Schwartz.
Yeah.
Is what they call it.
Yeah.
So they dump it in the gas tank, and they make space tracks.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we cut.
They go back. They go back to the wedding. Yeah. That was the little bit of plot I needed help with. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go back to the wedding, and it was like, "Oh, I'm a certified prince." Like he let me know what the ring was about, pretty much. And the guy who was processing it at the wedding, he's just getting irritated. He was like, "I've had so many interruptions." I was like,
"We're gonna do the short version."
Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
All right, you're done. You're married.
Good, you're married. Kiss her.
That's it. And they get married and happily ever after, pretty much. Yep.
And thus the movie ends.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see each other again in Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that there were talks of making sequels of these, but I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, there was they did Spaceballs the animated series,
right,
for a while.
Yeah.
But Mel Brooks has tried to get Spaceballs 2 off the ground a few times.
Yeah.
One time it was going to be called Spaceballs 3: The Search for Spaceballs 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And another time then they tried to get it off Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
Yeah.
But it has never materialized. I think we're past the point where it's likely to have happened. The Producers was huge, like back in 2001.
Yeah.
I think,
like it had the remake,
Yeah, but they redid the movie based on the Broadway musical, which was based on the 1957 movie.
Yeah.
With Nathan Lane,
right,
and Matthew Broderick,
right.
But it's I think that was like the height of Mel Brooks's clout.
Yeah.
And he could, if he wanted to get Spaceballs 2 made, I think that was the window. So I don't think we're going to get a Spaceballs 2, although I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love, well, I mean, you can't bring back John Candy, because he's dead.
I know.
Right? But I would still love to see Bill Pullman and Daphne Zuniga and Rick Moranis come back.
I don't know. I think just kind of leave it as it is. I mean, it's I'm not gonna say it's a classic. I mean, it's a funny spoof movie. And I liked it whenever I was younger. Going back into it, like, obviously I'm not gonna enjoy all the jokes as much as I did beforehand. I enjoyed some of them a little bit more now, but it's
Well, I love this movie. Every stitch of this movie is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Even the one joke that doesn't really hold up as well, the Comb the Desert bit,
right,
is still funny.
Yeah.
It's just a little tasteless.
Yeah.
Right? I will say that the music is really good. Most of the music is either small musical stings or 80s pop synth.
Yeah.
Right? Which is fine. But there is a theme called Spaceballs, the theme song.
Yeah.
And it was written, along with a lot of the incidental stings, by John Morris, who also did the music for Dirty Dancing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's I like that song. For a very long time, that was the ringtone on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to sing it because I don't think I want to torture our audience. But, But yeah, so Spaceballs, I think this is by far my favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's one of my favorite comedies, easily. Definitely on my Desert Island playlist. Like, if I get trapped somewhere, it's one I can watch over and over again.
You say that he's probably said this for more than 3 movies.
Well, I'm assuming
now.
I can take 10 movies to the desert island.
10, okay.
You know, and this would make that list.
Okay.
I don't know if it makes top 5, but definitely makes top 10. Right.
Okay.
All in all, I think I would give this rating. Give this movie. I'd give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
You know, some of it looks a little cheap. Some of it looks a little. Some of the acting is not great.
Oh yeah.
You know, but the performances are all fine from the main cast.
Right.
You know, but all in all, I mean, 8.5 when average is 5. This is really good. I really like this movie.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd give it a 6.
Really?
You know, like I mean, I still like it, but I don't think I can put a spoof movie, you know, in the same category as like a generally good, you know, a film. In general, like and that's just my personal view on it. Like it's good in terms of a spoof movie for sure. You know, it's got all those great notices and all the great skits. You know, like it's, you know, he plays around with comedy very well. It's just I just wouldn't be able to compare this to anything above a 6. You know,
you know, I get where you're coming from. I don't agree. I think it deserves a higher rating than that. Yeah. But I mean, I get why you are coming from there, and I can respect it.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people to watch this movie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, you know.
Yeah. Or a Star Trek fan. They reference that too.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? I mean, mostly it's Star Wars. I mean, like, the characters themselves are basically Star Wars. But I did really appreciate the fact that they combined, like Lone Star, like he's basically Han Solo and Luke combined. Like that's a very good decision to make whenever you're storyboarding. Or your spoof movie, like kind of combine, you know, both of the things that you want to say about separate characters into one guy, pretty much.
And that's something we've talked about before for comedies, is what the jokes per minute.
You know.
Right? Like, and Spaceballs has a very high JPM.
Yeah.
And if they had to shoehorn in a separate character to be the Luke Skywalker, I think it would have weighed down the movie a lot.
Yeah.
And Spaceballs is the kind of movie that really gets by on being quick and fast and, you know, constantly on the beat.
It definitely helps the pace of the movie, too, for sure. Like, if, you know, because then you'd have to introduce this whole other planet with, like, the Luke standing character. Yeah. And then it would be too much to handle. I think it's great as it stands.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to ask before we kind of wrap this up is, a lot of people say Spaceballs is not Mel Brooks' best movie. A lot of people say either Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein are his best movie. I've never seen Young Frankenstein as of this recording.
Yeah.
Okay? I have seen Blazing Saddles. Which, I'm assuming you've seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
Okay. Which do you like better? Not which do you think is better. Which do you like better?
That's a tough question. I mean, I still like Blazing Saddles the most out of them all.
Okay.
And like I don't know. I haven't seen Young Frankenstein in a long time.
Okay.
So maybe watching that again will probably give me an area to reinterpret it.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't say this is his weaker fare. You know, like I really appreciated it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I disagree with a lot of the critics who say this is not one of his best movies, and I say this is my favorite Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
You know, I like Blazing Saddles. I like History of the World Part 1. I like The Producers movie, even though some of that, I think that's probably his weakest movie, even though it's his newest one. You know.
I was thinking about the '68 one.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
1968.
I was thinking about the. I was talking about the new one.
Oh yeah.
The one.
See, I haven't even seen the new one
with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, well, I got started with the movie, but I haven't seen it myself.
Okay.
You know,
it's not horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
I know it's more like a musical than as opposed to like a spoof. You know.
Yeah.
Like what his style is. More so known of. You know, at least.
But there was The Producers, and then wasn't it what was the King Arthur play that Mel Brooks did, the Broadway show?
I don't know.
Spamalot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Mel Brooks.
Oh okay.
Yeah. That being said, I like this movie. I would highly recommend this movie to people. yeah, that's really kind of it. I mean, it's sort of a light, breezy movie,
Yeah.
and we've sort of light and breezied our way through it.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts?
That's it.
All right. Well, this has been the Doop Movie Podcast. My name is Brian.
My name is Keith.
And we will see you guys
next time.
Bye, everybody.